let's talk about the Denver ballot and specifically issue 2R, because we've yet really to devote a full topic to this election season. 2R is what proposes a sales tax for Denver to pay for more affordable housing. Carly, I'm going to start with you.
Sure, thank you. So in business, the approach is typically that you create a plan, and then once you have the plan, you look for the financing. And so for the Denver Metro Chamber of Commerce, while we think that affordable housing and access to housing is one of the most critical issues that we're facing as a community, we didn't get to a support position on that one, simply because when our business leaders looked at that, the approach was a little bit backwards from how we would typically approve funding for a new plan. That said, we really appreciate that there is enthusiasm and creativity around how we approach this as a really big challenge for our community. At the same time, we're currently ranked in Colorado 46th in 46th in the cost of living in the country. We're 39th in the cost of doing business. So we need to be really cognizant of where we're going in terms of taxation, simply because those numbers are not trending in our favor right now. We want to make sure that we are economically competitive so that we do have everyone with a good job who can afford housing in our city. That said, we are still looking forward to working with the mayor and others on the team, regardless of whether this passes or fails, because we do know that this is a critical issue, and we'll do everything we can to help deliver affordable housing to the employees and the businesses who need it in our communities.
Okay, Adam.
I think one thing I would reiterate to voters on this issue in particular is none of these things are operating in a vacuum. There's also a Denver Health Measure on the ballot that looks at sales tax. Say both Affordable Denver and Denver Health pass, you're now looking at 9.65% sales tax in Denver, largest within the metro region. You have comparable rates in Netherland, Commerce City, and Boulder, but we're looking at sort of mountain community tax rates. I'll leave that for voters to decide if they think that's a good thing in the long term. And then this, above all else, $100 million a year is not going to fix affordable housing in Denver. There's other tools that we're looking at. The city's looking at the Downtown Development Authority expansion as another tool. Leveraging federal dollars is a tool, and we've heard both candidates talk about the need for affordable housing. So I would say voters looking at this, cautious optimism, right? This is a tool that could potentially be utilized to help maybe backfill projects and help with development. But by no means is this going to get us to the level of unit development that we are short within Metro Denver.
So you believe it's a tool, not the answer?
Correct.
Hade.
When I was talking about initiatives where you want to be an expert, this is one of them. You want people who are experts in this field to weigh in. You want to know what the economic impact is, what the impact is in housing. And when you think about affordability in Denver, I've said it before, it's not just can you afford housing. Can you afford, once you have that housing, to pay for your trash removal, the other costs that are coming on, residential parking that you didn't used to have to pay for, the sidewalk fees you're going to have to start paying. It's becoming increasingly expensive to live in Denver for a variety of reasons. And I think that's one of the reasons this will go down, because voters don't see where the money is exactly going. They see where the money's going out of their own bank accounts, and they're going to take that into consideration. I also hope they take into consideration the real needs at Denver Health. And I think that's the referendum on where Denver is going. That's the kind of vote that would always pass in Denver, help the people less fortunate. This 2R would too, but I don't think now's the time.
Okay, all right.
Putting this on the ballot was an issue among Denver City Council members. They were, they begrudgingly did it, but a lot of them were very hesitant because, as Patty mentioned, they weren't quite sure how this plan would really work, where the money would go. It wasn't fully fleshed out, and they said it was rushed. So that was one battle. There's another battle, and just related to Adam talking about different tools for housing. There's a tool for housing right now called the Universal Basic Income Program, and this is also setting up a battle between City Council and the mayor right now. So they're hashing over the city budget. It's got to be finalized by mid-November. And right now, City Council is wanting to add more city budget funding for this program, which is an experimental program that provides no strings attached cash to people experiencing homelessness in the city for a way to give them a stable income and get them into housing. So for background, a study found that after 1 year, 45% of people, roughly 800 people enrolled in this program had actually secured housing, and it had also saved the city $600,000 for public service costs that include shelter, emergency health care, and jail time. So City Council says that's compelling enough evidence to continue funding it, but Mayor Johnston disagrees. And what's intriguing, Kyle, is that Johnston previously endorsed this program and even earlier this year expanded its funding, and now he's backtracking. So what we're watching right now is whether this standoff between City Council and Johnston will result in City Council using their supermajority to overturn a possible veto from Johnston. They have 11 of 13 council members in support of continuing funding. You only need 9 votes to actually overturn a mayoral veto. So we'll be watching how this plays out, but proponents of this program say if the city doesn't continue funding it, there's a really good chance that it will die.
Thank you for watching this ballot discussion. The Colorado Inside Out team has tackled one measure every week and will do so right up until Election Day. Don't miss an episode so that you are all set to vote on or before November 5th.